Smoke still rose from the broken cities of Threxos Prime. The sky was dark with ash. The once great empire was now silent, but Earth's fleet had vanished. No humans stayed behind. No, speeches were made. Only destruction remained, and one message. Written in fire, we ask for peace. You answered with blood. So we answered louder. Inside, a hidden Threxos bunker, deep underground. General Zarnak Veth paced back and forth. He had survived the attack, barely half. His army was gone, his capital was gone. His leaders were gone, and now he had something else. A prisoner. She was the only human they had captured. Her name was Lieutenant Ava Riker. Her ship had been hit during the battle. She crashed in a forest outside one of the old Threxos military sites. Zarnak's team had found her alive but wounded. Now, she sat in a cold metal chair, hands bound, face bruised but calm. She did not cry. She did not beg. She just stared. Zarnak entered the room, his tall body blocking the light. He looked at her, this small, quiet creature, and felt both hate and fear. You came to destroy my world, he said. Ava didn't answer. You murdered my people. Still no answer. Say something, he shouted. She smiled. A slow, cold smile. Then she spoke. You killed our envoy. Her voice was quiet but full of steel. We sent you peace. You sent us death, so we returned it. You don't understand, we are warriors. You were supposed to fear us. Ava leaned forward. You thought we were weak, because we sing songs, because we laugh, because we love. Her eyes burned with quiet rage. But when you take what we love, we become something else. Zarnak stared at her. Something else? You mean monsters? Ava's smile faded. No, we're not monsters. She leaned even closer. We're the people you should have left alone. Zarnak stepped back. He felt cold for the first time in years. He had seen his cities burn. He had seen his ships fall from the sky. He had seen the Earth fleet arrive with no words, only action. And now, sitting before him, the reason why. Not rage, not madness, but control. Human revenge was not wild, was not messy. It was surgical, cold, unstoppable. He looked at Ava and asked, almost whispering, How did you do it? How did your kind become this thing? Ava looked up at the ceiling. We were broken many times. In our history, we lost cities. We lost children. We lost worlds. But every time we broke, built ourselves back, stronger. She looked at him again. You made one mistake. You thought peace made us soft. But peace is a choice. A hard one. You tore it apart. So we stopped choosing. Zarnak turned away. He didn't know what scared him. More the firepower of Earth's fleet, or the calm voice of a human soldier, speaking about death like it was duty. Ava spoke one last time. You thought, we came for glory. But we came for justice. You thought we'd stop? We don't stop until it's done. We don't forget. Then, without warning, she bit down on something hidden in her mouth. Zarnak shouted, N.O.! But it was too late. Her eyes closed, her heart stopped. A small light blinked once on her wrist, and turned off. She was gone. No fear, no tears, only silence. Zarnak stood in the room alone. He looked at the empty chair, and he finally understood what the galaxy had whispered. For years, do not make Earth angry. You won't survive what comes after? That night, Zarnak recorded a message. He sent it into the stars, to every race, every world, every species. His face appeared on screens across the galaxy. Once a proud general, now just a broken shadow. We're warned. We did not listen. We thought Earth was weak. But they were strong in the ways we never understood. They do not fight for land. They do not fight for pride. They fight for each other. He paused, his eyes filled with something new. Not fear, not anger, but respect. We killed their peace, so they killed our power. May you learn from our ashes. The galaxy watched in silence. No one clapped. No one cheered. They simply listened and remembered. The sun rose over Threxos Prime. One last time, but it could not touch the fear in the hearts of its people. Skies were gray. Smoke still rose from the cities. The once great empire was quiet, too quiet. The black warships of Earth hung above the planet like shadows of death. 12 of them, still cold, watching, waiting in one underground command bunker. The last Threxos War Council stood frozen. Generals, ministers, advisors, once proud, now broken. Chancellor Vorak sat slumped in his chair. His uniform was torn. His voice was weak. "We've offered surrender 3 times. They haven't answered." A younger officer asked, trembling. "What do they want?" No one answered, because they all knew the truth. Earth wasn't asking for surrender. Earth was here for punishment. High above the planet, on the Earth warship Judgment, Commander Serena Holt watched the surface through a glass window. Her eyes were sharp, her voice calm. "Are all targets confirmed?" Her officer replied, "Yes, ma'am. Every government, military, and command center has been mapped. Civilian zones marked as no strike." Orders. She didn't hesitate. "Begin." Final strike. Earth's ships lit up with power. Energy pulsed through their cores. Massive guns turned slowly, locking onto targets far below. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Across Threxos Prime. Alarms blared. People looked to the sky. Some ran. Some prayed. Some stood still knowing it was too late. 7, 6, 5. In orbit, Earth's ships charged their weapons. No messages, no demands, only fire. 4, 3, 2. The first shot came from Ragnarok. A beam of pure energy sliced through the atmosphere and struck the Threxos High Command tower. It didn't just fall, it vaporized. Then came the rest. Hades took out 3 bunkers with 1 shot. Eclipse erased the capital's spaceport. Reaper sent precision strikes to every known weapons depot. No bombs missed. No systems failed. Earth had not come for war. Earth had come for closure. Inside the ruins, survivors hid in silence. There was no time to fight. No way to run, and no more leaders to give orders. The last communication tower tried to send a message. 1 word. Mercy. But it never reached space. Oblivion erased the tower in seconds, in less than 1 hour. The entire Threxos government was gone. Not just damaged erased, but Earth. Didn't touch homes, didn't bomb hospitals, didn't hurt children. The message was clear: we are not monsters. But we will destroy monsters. Back on Judgment. Commander Holt received confirmation. All targets destroyed. Civilian zones untouched. The mission was complete. And still, Earth sent no words. Only silence. Only fire. In the ruins of the once proud capital, a lone Threxos child stood. Looking up, he saw the Earth's flag burning, still floating in the sky. He did not cry, he did not speak. He simply watched, as if learning something he would never forget. In a hidden corner of the galaxy, alien leaders watched the destruction live. The Yulari were silent. The Corps turned off their weapons research. The Ventari prayed, and one small planet began building a statue not of Threxos leaders, but of the Earth's envoy, Ambassador Helen Miles. Holding out her hand in peace, Earth's final message was sent across the stars. It was short, just 2 lines. "This is justice. Let no one forget why." Then the black ships turned, one by one. They vanished into the stars. They had done what they came for, and now they left. Threxos Prime was still alive, but it would never be the same. Its empire was gone. Its power, its name now spoken. Only in warning, the galaxy had seen Earth's fire. Now it saw Earth's silence, and that silence was louder than any war. The stars were calm. Space was quiet. The Earth's first envoy ship, the Unity, moved slowly toward a bright green planet. The ship was painted white, carried no weapons. Peace. Inside the ship, Ambassador Helen Miles stood near the front window. She wore a blue Earth flag on her uniform. Her face looked calm, but her heart beat fast. "This is history," she whispered. Behind her, 12 crew members were busy with screens and systems. Translator bots hummed softly. Cameras were recording everything, ready to send it back to Earth. Everyone smiled. Earth had waited many years to meet the Threxos Empire. It was a strong alien race, powerful, respected, and feared. But Earth wanted peace. The Unity sent one final message. "We come in peace. We wish to speak. We bring gifts and friendship." The answer came moments later. Deep alien voice echoed through the ship's speakers. "Threxos welcomes Earth. Dock in. Corridor is ready. No weapons. No guards. Only leaders." The ship connected with the alien platform. A soft hiss filled the air as the doors opened. Helen stepped out first. A group of tall, dark-skinned aliens waited for her. Their eyes glowed orange. They bowed. "Welcome, humans," said the lead alien, voice smooth. "Come, let peace begin." Helen smiled and nodded. "Let peace begin," the crew followed. They entered the wide, dark hallway. It was clean, silent. The floor lit up with each step. Strange symbols glowed on the walls. Cameras from the ship followed the team, still sending everything back to Earth. Back in Earth Command Center, people clapped. Children in schools cheered. The Unity's crew had done it. First contact was real. It was peaceful. The dream was happening, but then the feed glit. The screen flickered once, then twice. The hallway turned red. Suddenly a loud scream echoed through the speakers. One, then two. Then silence. All screens went black. Earth Command fell silent. "Try to reconnect," someone shouted. Technicians rushed to fix the signal. They couldn't. 5 minutes passed. 10. Then a message appeared on every Earth screen. It came from the Threxos. It had no voice. Only words. "The Envoy has been erased. Earth will not rise." The room filled with shock. People stared in horror. Some cried. Some shouted. Helen and her crew were gone. In a dark room deep under Earth's surface, General Marcus Stone stood alone. He had served in wars. He had lost men before. But this was different. He looked at the last image of Helen, smiling as she entered the hallway. Then he turned off the screen. He walked to a secure panel and placed his hand on it. A voice asked, "Confirm activation of Protocol Vengeance." He didn't blink. Confirmed. 3 hours later, across Earth's skies, black ships began to rise. Massive, silent, hidden for years in the oceans, under deserts, and in deep mountains. Now they were awake. Each ship had one name painted in red: Ragnarok Ash's Vendetta, Hades' Judgment, and more. Children looked up at the sky. Parents pulled them inside. The world knew. Earth was not going to wait. No speech was made. No message was sent. Earth had only one reply: war, in a small home in Tokyo. A father hugged his daughter and said, "They killed the people who came with open hands." In New York, a woman turned to the sky and whispered, "Now they'll see what Earth becomes when it's angry." The last scene sent from the Unity replayed one more time on Earth screens, Helen smiling, saying, "Let peace begin." Fire, then silence, then darkness. But Earth had remembered, and Earth would answer, not with words, with fire. The skies above Earth had changed. They were no longer blue. They were dark, filled with black ships rising from hidden bases. These ships had been kept secret for decades, built under oceans, hidden in frozen lands, stored in deep space docks. Now they were awake. Now they were angry. 12 warships rose slowly through the clouds, each one bigger than a city, each one designed for one purpose: total destruction. Their names were painted in blood. Red across their hulls: Ragnarok, Judgment, Ashes, Hades, Oblivion, Ghostfire, Reaper, Doomspire, Nemesis, Hellstar. Wrath eclipsed people all over Earth stood in silence as the sky filled with thunder. These were not ships of defense. These were weapons of revenge. In Earth's global command room, General Marcus Stone gave no speech. He stared at the map of the stars. His voice was cold. Target: Threxos Prime. Full fleet. No survivors. No warning. No one argued. No one hesitated. The room knew what the Threxos had done. The Unity was not a threat. It was a ship of peace. It had no weapons. It carried scientists, translators, and one diplomat ambassador, Helen Miles. And now she was gone. Her last words still echoed in the minds of every human. Let peace begin. Now Earth had only one answer. Let vengeance begin. 12. Warships left Earth's orbit like silent shadows. They did not send any message to the stars. They did not answer calls from other alien races. They vanished into deep space, heading straight for Threxos. The galaxy watched. Other alien species, the Yulari, the Ventari, the core gathered in quiet rooms. Watching Earth's warships move, some were shocked. Some were afraid. One Yulari priest whispered, they were peaceful, until someone broke that peace. A Corps general looked at the images and said, we told Threxos not to test the humans. But it was too late. Earth had been insulted and humans did not forget. On Threxos Prime, Threxos leaders celebrated. Chancellor Varrock stood in his high tower, drinking a dark red wine made from Earth's plants. He smiled as he looked out over the glowing city. The humans will do nothing, he said. They are soft. They talk too much. A young officer entered, nervous. Sir? The humans have launched ships. Large ones. Very large. Borak laughed. Let them come. We destroyed their envoy. What else can they do? But deep in his heart, a small fear began to grow. 3 days later, a quiet station at the edge of Threxos space. Detected movement. 12 massive objects. Approached. They did not answer hails. They did not slow down. They did not blink. The officer in charge sent a message to Threxos Command. We see them. The humans are coming, and they are not here to talk. Then the signal went dead. Back on Earth, the public was silent. No music, no news. Only the black screen of Protocol Vengeance was playing across every country. It showed one thing, the names, and faces of the Unity crew, one by one, with soft piano music, no voice, no commentary, just the memories of those who tried to bring peace and were murdered for it. A small boy in Brazil looked up and asked, will they come back? His mother stared at the screen and said softly, no, my love, but they will be remembered. Inside the ship Ragnarok, Captain Lee sat in the command chair. He looked at the star ahead, Threxos Prime. He turned to his crew and said in a calm, low voice, remember what they did to Helen, to our brothers and sisters. We are not monsters, but we will show the monsters what we become when pushed. A soldier nodded. Sir, no mercy, Lee answered without blinking. None. Across the fleet, the same order was repeated. No warning, no mercy, no survivors. This was not a war. It was a message. Back on Threxos Prime, Chancellor Vorok received a final encrypted message from a small alien outpost. The humans are here. They destroyed our patrol in less than 12 seconds. Their weapons are different. Their silence is louder than war drums. They're not talking. They're not asking. They're just coming. Then silence. No more reports. No more signals. Only darkness. Earth's warships had reached Threxos space. The countdown had begun, and the galaxy held its breath. The world of Threxos Prime was quiet. Its cities were gone, its leaders dust, its armies wiped away. Only the wind moved now, it's whispering through the ruins. But in that silence, something still breathed. One small ship, one survivor in the far mountains, where the fire hadn't reached, a secret bunker opened. Inside, a Threxos child stepped forward. His name was Kelvar. He was only 9 years old. His eyes were wide, his claws small. He had never held a weapon. He had never seen war. He had only heard stories. But now, he had seen the end. A guardian robot activated beside him. Kelvar, it is. Time to go where? The child asked softly. Away from here. Shh. You are the last. But what about the others? There are no others. The small escape ship launched into the sky. It was old, slow, silent, but it flew. Up through the clouds past the burning flag of Earth. Into space. Back on Earth's shipwrath, an alert pinged. One small vessel leaving Threxo's atmosphere, said the officer. Captain John Reyes looked at the screen. Weapons? None? Who's inside? One life form? Young. No threat. He watched the screen for a moment, then he gave. An order, intercept. But do not destroy. Ghostfire. A smaller ship in the fleet moved quickly and caught the escape pod. It pulled it in with a soft magnetic grip. Inside the hangar, Earth soldiers surrounded the small vessel. Guns ready, but when the door opened, no monster walked out, only a boy, Kelvar. Stepped into the light. He looked up at the tall humans. They didn't shoot. They didn't speak. One soldier slowly lowered his weapon. Another stepped forward, a woman in a dark, gray uniform. She knelt in front of him. What's your name? She asked. He didn't answer. He just looked at her, eyes wide, scared. She reached into her pocket and pulled out something small, a chocolate bar, wrapped in gold. She held it out. It's okay. You're not our enemy. He took it slowly, then sat down on the cold metal floor. Later in the ship's medical bay, the human commander sent a message to Judgment. Captain Holt, we have a survivor, a Threxos child. What do we do with him? A pause, then the reply. Let him live. He needs to remember. Back in the galaxy, news spread fast. A message was shared across thousands of systems. It came from Earth's Fleet Command, simple, clear. We are returning to our world. Threxos Prime is no longer a threat. One survivor was found. We chose to spare him. Let that be the final lesson. The message shocked the galaxy. Why spare one? Let even one live? Some feared it. Some didn't understand, but those who truly knew humans understood. This was not mercy. It was memory, Kel. Var was dropped off on a neutral planet called Velen 3. It was quiet, peaceful, and far from any war. A small human base watched over him from a distance. He was given food, a bed, books, and a quiet place to grow. Every year, he asked the same question. Why didn't you kill me? And every time the answer was the same. Because someone has to remember what you did. He learned about Earth. He read the reports. He saw the videos. He cried. He screamed. But he could not change the past. He could only carry it. He grew, older, stronger, smarter, but he never forgot, and neither did Earth. One day, he stood on the cliffs of Velen 3 and looked at the stars. He spoke softly to the wind. I was born in fire, but I survived it. Now, I carry that fire not to burn, but to warn. The galaxy would remember the destruction of Threxos, but it would also remember Kelvar, the last of his kind. Not as a threat, not as a hero, but as a warning. Earth doesn't always destroy. Sometimes it lets one live. The stars had not changed, but the galaxy had. The name Earth was now spoken. In whispers, not with hate, not with laughter, but with fear. And respect, news of Threxos. Prime's fall spread like fire. Over 100 planets saw the footage. 12 Earth ships. 12 black giants. No speeches, no negotiations. Just fire and silence. On the neutral moon, Viranus, a famous alien historian, stood before a crowd. He was old, thin, eyes glowing with sorrow. He raised a hand to quiet the room and began. The Threxos Empire is gone. Not because of greed, not because of power struggles, but because they killed a voice of peace. He played a short video. It showed Ambassador Helen Miles smiling gently. "We come in peace," she said. Then the screen turned dark and stayed dark. The historian spoke again, and so Earth answered. He turned to the crowd. His voice was clear now. They did not destroy cities for fun. They did not kill civilians. They removed only what was needed, the ones who murdered peace. An alien child raised a hand. "Stay and conquer Threxos." The historian smiled sadly. Because Earth never wanted power. They only wanted respect. In the far corners of the galaxy, alien governments met in secret. Old enemies shook hands. Trade deals were signed faster. Peace. Treaties were respected because everyone had learned the same lesson. If you hurt Earth, you won't get a second chance. On Earth, people returned to normal life, but not without scars. Memorials were built. Statues of the Unity crew stood in every capital city. Helen Miles stood tall, holding a flag in one hand and an olive branch in the other. Beneath her feet, words were written, "They killed peace." So we answered with justice. General Marcus Stone, now retired, gave one final speech on Earth's global broadcast. "We don't celebrate what we did. We don't take pride in burning worlds." Paused. "But we remember. We remember that we came with peace." And they answered with blood. On Velen 3, the last Threxoskelvar watched the speech. Alone. He was older now. Quiet. Still carrying the past. Earth had not raised him to hate. They had not taught him to fight. They had simply let him live so he would never forget. One day, he visited Earth. He stood before Helen's statue in New York. He placed a flower at its base and whispered, "I'm sorry." A woman nearby heard him and asked, "Who are you?" Turned, eyes full of truth. "The one you spared." Back in the stars, the galaxy changed. Where once there were wars, now there was caution. Where once Earth was called young and soft, it was called something else. The balance. The line between peace and destruction. The reminder. That silence doesn't mean weakness. Years later, a new alien generation would ask, "Is the story of Threxos real?" And their elders would nod every time. Yes, Earth came with a dove. Threxos killed it. So Earth returned with fire and then disappeared into the stars. And the stars remembered because humans didn't. They didn't threaten. They simply acted. With precision, with discipline, and when needed. With vengeance, Earth had been tested, and now the galaxy finally knew. You can trade with humans. You can befriend them. You can live beside them. But if you harm them even once, they will become something you cannot stop. Monsters. Not conquerors, but something far worse to their enemies. The final answer is the story can be told forever. Far away from Earth and Threxos, the galaxy watched with fear. Many alien leaders gathered in secret. In cold metal halls, dark caves, and sky palaces, they whispered. They watched Earth's black ships move through space without sound, without warning. They did not slow down. They did not answer messages. They were like shadows of death, and everyone knew. What came next? The Council of 12 Worlds met in emergency session. It was held on the neutral moon of Veronis. No weapons were allowed. Only truth. The 12 most powerful alien species were present. Yulari, the Ventari, the Core, the Silith, and more. Their eyes stared at the large screen in the center. It showed Earth's fleet closing in on Threxos. "Space," a Ventari diplomat told, wise, with glowing blue skin, spoke first. "We warn the Threxos. Humans are not like us." UlariMonk.com, but Pale nodded slowly. "They do not fight for land or power or pride. They fight when you hurt their own, and when they fight, they end it." A young alien from the Iraqi species asked, confused, "But they are soft, aren't they?" "Their songs, their books, so full of love." An old core warrior answered sharply, "That's the mistake. That's what fools see. Under that softness is something else, something terrible." The room grew quiet, then a screen lit up again, showing A moment from the past. The siege of Ral, nor an ancient war. Long before peace, humans were trapped on a frozen moon. Outnumbered, surrounded, they fought with knives. With fire, with bare hands. When they ran out of food, they ate tree bark. When they ran out of bullets, they threw rocks. And when the enemy offered mercy, the humans burned their own base and charged forward, screaming, bleeding. But they did not stop. They won, and they left only ash behind. Another voice in the room whispered, "We thought they were primitive back then. But they just hadn't shown us everything yet." Council watched more footage, humans running into acid rain to rescue wounded allies, soldier using his own body as a shield to protect civilians, a woman losing her legs to save children smiling. After Earth refusing to bomb an enemy hospital, even when it cost them the battle, the Iraqi diplomat whispered again, "They care?" The Ulari monk nodded. Deeply. That is their strength. And their curse. The Silith queen clicked her many legs and hissed, "So, if they love so much, why are they now killing?" Everyone turned to the screen. They saw the moment. The Threxos killed Earth's envoy. They saw Ambassador Helen Miles unarmed, smiling into the peace hall. They saw her disappear. Then they saw the message. The envoy has been erased. The Corps General leaned forward, voice sharp. "You do not kill a human envoy. You do not spill innocent blood and expect silence." On the screen, Earth's Black Fleet moved closer to Threxos Prime. The ships were still quiet, but the silence was no longer peaceful. It was a storm waiting to break. The Ventari. Elder spoke softly. The humans were not the strongest species in the galaxy. Not at first. But they were the most stubborn, the most loyal, the most united when you hurt their own. He paused. That is why we feared them, not for their guns, but for their hearts. Elsewhere, in small corners of space, other races began to move. The Planari started evacuating their colonies near Threxos. The Raltec began removing Earth citizens from their borders for their safety. The Galdari locked down their spaceports. Some races even tried to open communication with Earth, but Earth did not reply. They didn't need to. Their message was already written. It was flying through the stars on the sides of 12 black warships. Their message was, "We came in peace. You answered with murder. Now we come in silence, and we will leave nothing behind." On a news channel watched across 3 star systems, a famous alien speaker trembled as he said, "Threxos killed Earth's dove. Now Earth has become the hawk. May the stars have mercy on them." The camera cut back to Threxos Prime. The last peaceful sunset glowed over the shining towers. Citizens walked in the streets. Shops were open. Children laughed. They did not know that judgment was almost at their door. They had not seen what the galaxy now knew. They had not felt the cold that came before the fire. Above them, far beyond the blue sky, Earth's fleet moved into final position. Weapons. Systems charged, shields locked in place. Engines glowed red. Captain Lee stood on the command. Deca Ragnarok. He looked out at the planet. He gave only one order. Begin countdown. The galaxy had feared many things before, but now, for the first time, it feared Earth. The stars above Threxos Prime were calm, but something was coming. Something cold. Something human. 12 black warships moved into position like dark giants. They made no sound, sent no warning. They simply arrived and they waited. On board Ragnarok, Captain Lee stood tall on the command deck. His eyes were locked on the glowing planet below. "Target is in range," a crew member said. Lee gave a slow nod. "Start with the military zones. Civilians get one warning, just one." From Earth's fleet, a simple message was sent to Threxos Prime. It played on every screen across the planet. No sound, just a video. It showed Ambassador Helen Miles smiling, stepping out of the Unity ship. Then came the moment she vanished into the alien hallway. Then static. And finally, the words, "You murdered peace. We are what comes after." Threxos leaders panicked. Chancellor Vorak shouted at his generals, Why didn't you stop them before? Why didn't you destroy their ships in space? A general replied, trembling. We thought they would negotiate. But they didn't speak, didn't even threaten us, just came. The Rexos defense ships tried to rise into orbit. They didn't get far. Oblivion opened fire. Beams of blue. Light sliced through the sky. Ships exploded midair. Some didn't even have time to turn. Within 10 minutes, the entire Threxos fleet was gone from orbit. Earth's fleet launched precision strikes, military bases. Vanished in bright flashes, communication towers were turned to dust. No, human laughed. No one cheered. This was not glory. This was justice. Captain Lee watched in silence. He gave the next command: send the fire signal. All 12 ships deployed special drones into the upper atmosphere of Threxos Prime. The drones formed a massive symbol in the sky, the Earth flag. Burning, beneath it were words written in fire, visible from the surface. This is for the Envoy. People across Threxos stared at the sky. Frozen in fear, children cried, mothers screamed, soldiers ran without orders. It was no longer a war. It was a message, and Earth had written it in flame. On Earth, the world watched in silence. No music played, no celebration, only the slow, real-time video feed from the warships. Every Earth citizen watched. Old people, young people, children who had seen Helen speak on Earth News now watched her murder being answered in one home. The boy looked up and asked, "Is it over?" His father shook his head. "No, it's just starting." Back on Threxos Prime, Chancellor Vorak sent a desperate message. Earth, we call for a ceasefire. We wish to negotiate. We offer full apology. We will pay. There was no reply. Instead, the next wave of Earth's attack began. This time, it was not the military. Earth targeted government buildings, command bunkers, propaganda stations, every location. Connected to the murder of the Envoy, but again civilians were spared. Earth's strikes were clean, precise, brutal. They didn't destroy the whole planet. They destroyed everything that made Threxos powerful. One human officer looked at the screen and said, "We are not monsters. But monsters made us do this." Then came the final blow. The Unity ship beacon salvaged from wreckage was launched from Nemesis. It landed in the ruins of the Threxos High Tower. It played one last message, Ambassador Helen's voice. Not to rule, we come; not to conquer, we come as friends. Please don't mistake that as weakness. Then silence, then fire. The beacon exploded, wiping out the remains of the Threxos ruling council. Threxos Prime fell, not by chance, not by chaos, but by design. Earth had not just attacked, they had erased the heart of a species. All that remained was smoke and silence. The next day, Earth's fleet turned away. They didn't land. They didn't speak. They simply vanished. Back into space, one small message was left behind. It was carved into the stone at the entrance of Threxos' ruined capital. We asked for peace. You answered with blood, so we answered louder. The galaxy felt the heat of that fire and the cold that followed.